Jump over here when you do the ooby dooby, I gotta be near ooby dooby, ooby dooby, ooby dooby, ooby dooby, ooby dooby, ooby dooby.
Welcome to the Game Plan Online, episode 5. My name is Nick Dillon. This is our regular panellist Paul Mitchell, and our special guest for today is RFL Vice President Les Lange. Welcome, Les.
Thank you very much.
Les. Great to have you on board, mate.
Thanks for coming in.
Pleasure.
Well, firstly, mate, just tell us a little bit about your role with the RFL this year as Vice President and how things are going over at League Headquarters.
It's my second role this year with the Commission. Always been heavily involved with basketball, so I thought I'd give football a go. And so I've took that role on, and my role on the Commission is to actually work with the umpires as well. And as you well know, I'm a goal umpire as well. I try to be a goal umpire anyway, as well. So it works in pretty good for the Commission. They don't have to send anyone down there. Yeah. I'm already there anyway. So very interesting, and I think we're making pretty good grounds at the moment. We've lost a fair few, unfortunately, but we'll get there with the umpiring fraternity. Yeah.
For sure. Can you just tell us a little bit about your background in football as well, mate? Playing and
never played much. Yeah. Didn't play till after I was about 16 years of age. Back in the days was junior Colts, senior Colts. So when I finished out of senior Colts, wasn't much of a footballer. Won a few premierships through nothing to do with me. Played with Grantley Filkey and Baker Holm, Big Pont, all these very good footballers. So I was very fortunate. Had probably the elite two coaches as juniors in Bruce Proud and Dennis Becker back in those days, so I was very lucky. Had a very sort of not a very good left knee. It wasn't to do with football, I don't think, it's just how it was. Play basketball, have no problems. So and with the work I was doing, a lot of structural work and all that, didn't really play football after senior Colts, or I didn't play any at all. So and one year I think the Super Dogs asked me to play, and I laughed at them. I said, well, obviously you've never seen me play, you wouldn't be asking me. So that's really on a playing area, not much at all to do with football, no.
How'd you get back into the administration side then, please?
Well, I stepped down a bit with basketball, and I was actually asked by Wendy Kruger whether I'd do it, and I thought I wouldn't mind a little bit of a challenge and something different. So I took on the role of that. I was asked by Loxton last year though if I could be, their delegate, like on the Commission, and I said no. I'd rather go there as a partial person and just there for football in general, and that's what I'm there for, just football in general. So and it's like I said, it's been pretty good. Yeah,
excellent. Are there any big decisions being made at RFL level that sort of putting the league in a good place at the moment?
There is and there isn't. As you well know, Nick, we're battling with this junior age bracket, and that stems from up the top at AFL Community Football. And I think we had a really good delegates meeting last week. We had a guy called Glenn Sickety come up from the Barossa, and he really explained it really well. And I think all the delegates have got that on board now, how it does actually work. And there is something coming out as well about the legalities of playing a younger player higher or an older player lower, where you've got to sign forms and all this sort of stuff. So the AFL community are starting to sort of waver towards the country areas instead of just city areas. I didn't think they realised what the country areas actually relied on.
They go through,
with that side of it.
Try and get those juniors up and running.
Yes, and I mean, umpires is a major thing. That is a really big concern. Not because I'm a goal umpire. I just think that we've lost a lot of real good umpires in the last 3 to 4 years. I've been there for 3 to 4 years now. I know we would have had probably up to 9 A-grade panel umpires. I would say we've only probably got 4 to 5.
Okay. What's the reason for that? Why are we losing so many umpires, in your opinion?
Well,
please?
I think it goes across the board. I don't really blame the abuse that has been going out there, the whole lot. Greg Platt, for instance, bad knees. Jordan Wright's gone to Adelaide. There is a couple that have stepped down from I won't mention those names, from the abuse, but and probably age. So really, it's just up to us then to try to get the younger ones through. As you guys know, in sport though, you get a young one right, and then they go to uni. and they're gone.
Jordan's one of those, I guess.
Jordan's one of those. So we've got a couple of good young girls in Kimberley and Jessica coming through, young Nelson Hayes. We've got a couple of good kids coming through, but how long we keep them for, who knows? It depends if they get a job here or not.
What about the question of getting past players to umpire? Guys like Jeff Hayes have always been trying to get past guys to umpire. What's the barrier? Why aren't you getting more ex-players back? Is it a Riverland thing, or does it go across the board, Les?
I think it's across the board. I think this is where the abuse comes in. I think those players, and believe me, some of those players probably gave a lot of the abuse. They think, well, why should we go out and cop it? And that's sad. I would really love to see Jeff's really pushing for these umpires to come in 3 times just to get an understanding of the rules. We had one last week and 2 guys like in Mark Wright and Steve Inglis come over and got a lot out of it, and they thought it was great, But you can't force people to do something they don't want to do. And this is what I've been trying to work with probably Jeff and the Commission about this. I'm not one in for fining clubs all the time. I don't believe that can solve it. I would really love to see us go out and work with club umpires. If a club comes up and says, look, we can get an umpire for this particular week, it would be good to send someone out there. But see, unfortunately, Nick and Paul, we don't have that calibre of person that can just go out and do that at B grade or independent level because we don't have enough. 4 odd year ago we had 9 A grade umpires. We could have done it easily. So really we dropped our guard 4 years ago. We probably should have been talking about this when we had the nucleus there. So we're just going to work on it now and just hopefully we can get a few of the retirees that are just starting to retire, even the Super Dogs players, those guys are pretty passionate about their football, and those are the ones with the knowledge when you have a look at the guys who are playing now. But we are going to, and I will say this here, we are going to hopefully enforce a blue card rule where that does aim at the spectators.
Oh, good.
I can't say much more on that just yet, but as soon as we know after a commission meeting, which is in a couple of weeks, I'll notify the Murray Pioneer and the radio, and we'll get it in the papers and everything to hopefully work on that. It works in the Hills area and the Great Southern area.
So I understand this came up at a meeting, was it last week?
Last week, yes.
And created a lot of debate at that meeting. It would essentially be a code of conduct for spectators, and I guess is that right? And B, the issue of how that is enforced will be the main problem you'll have to overcome, isn't it, Les?
For sure, definitely, yes, I totally agree. And with anything that's brought in, there's always fors and against issues that people will say, some person might do this, some person might do that. Unless we try it, Paul, unless we actually try it and give it a go, I would love to really see how it goes in the first month, 6 weeks.
Yeah, like a trial period.
Yeah, and but that's my opinion. It's got to come from the Commission. I'm the one that's really pushed for this blue card, but, I've scoped something up, given it to a couple of the umpires, given it to a commissioner, then we'll take it back to the Commission as well. They've all got to agree on it, Paul, and it can't be just something that I like that can go through. So, and then we'll send it out to all the clubs, get their feedback, and then we'll see where it works from there. I know for a fact a couple of the presidents I've spoken to, because they've rang me about it, they're actually all for it. They also know that's going to put them under the pump to keep the spectators in line, but I think what you'll find what's going to happen is their friends will keep them in line. Because when a 50-metre penalty, a free kick and a 50-metre penalty is going to be given against their side in the crucial times of a game, and it could cost them that game, what are their mates going to say?
That's it.
So unfortunately, it's harsh. It could be harsh, but if it's out there and everyone knows, let's just hope we don't have to use it. We don't want to use it. We will go through the umpires, how they have to handle it. It's not just a questioning of calls. It's going to be based virtually on if it's a personal attack on an umpire, which there's a lot out there at the moment. So, but believe it or not, guys, it's not just the field, it's the boundary umpires that cop it too, and even the young ladies. I won't say what a young lady was called down at Wakery, most disgusting what she was called. So that happens, bang,
Yeah.
it's just going to be hit. So what we'll do, if that goes through, guys, I would love to meet with the Pioneer, have a really good interview with them, and we'll put something out in the papers, on the radios, so everyone knows. I'd love to see signs go up around the grounds, and then people
that's
can't.
the way, get it out there so everyone knows.
One of the presidents suggested we put a flyer out on the gate as well.
Yeah.
It'll be worth it, guys. If we can encourage to get 3 more umpires next year, then 3 the following year, I think we're back on track.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Excellent. And just lastly, before we get into the games, just touch on young Shay, who's playing Loxton A grade.
Yes.
Obviously your son.
Yes.
How's he going at the moment with the Tigers?
He's going okay. He had a bit of a calf strain in the first game. They thought it was something more serious, so he was lucky. He couldn't run really much for about 10 days, and they brought him in against Wakery in the third game and ran out of legs in the last, but got through last week unscathed.
Good.
Really enjoying his footy. Actually gave up boundary umpiring to do that. They actually wanted him in Adelaide to do that this year. I didn't know until Jeff said something to me about it. They actually rang Jeff about him to go down there, and Jeff said he's having a year off to see how he goes with his footy. Really enjoying it. Pretty easy to enjoy it when you've got a lot of good footballers around you too. And Loxton have got a lot of good footballers. We talk about travelling players. These guys are genuine guys, and they actually care about the lads. They're actually really good to the younger ones on the field.
That's good.
So he's settling in pretty good. Hope people don't expect too much of him. He's only 18.
Yeah.
And but no, he's quite enjoying it. He's loving it actually, because he loves the hard work ethics of stuff. That's why he made the state countryside. He loves that hard trainings. He looks forward to going to trainings. That's half the battle, isn't it?
Especially for the young fellas these days.
Yeah, it really is. So no, he's just going okay.
That's good. Very good. Well, we'll get into the games for this week, for the first 3 Riverland games, and we've got Wakery and Loxton North first up. Now, we don't know too much about what Wakery got coming in and out, but we do know that Tim Bevan and Craig Miller are potentially still out. Craig's suffered a burn, apparently, pretty bad burn. And Timmy Bevan, I know he trained this week, but whether he gets through tomorrow night, we're not sure. And Amos Frank should come back in, but we're not sure on Nelson Peters. He's been injured. For Loxton North, the captain's back, Josh Nelson, which is great to see, and Matty Wolford, the dual male medalist. And out we've got Scotty Manigetti. He's got a bit of an injury, and I'm expecting him to be out for 1 to 2. And young Ty McKenzie's been listed as an out, although he has been listed as an out for the past couple of weeks, I think, but he's got the late call up. So, what are your thoughts on this one, Mitch?
Oh, gee, it's a tough one. It's hard to see Wakery keep going on this losing streak, but Loxton North with those couple of ins, hard to tip against them as well, so I'm going to stick with Loxton North in this one.
Yeah. Les?
Manigetti will be out for a couple. Very bad ankle injury. He will be a big loss, but I still say Josh Nelson is so vital to that side. Like Thorpe is to Renmark, Bevan is to Wakery, so I think Joshy Nelson is going to be a huge plus. Little whisper goes as I believe you probably won't see Franks and Peters play for Wakery again.
Really?
That's a little rumour I've heard. So I think they might have been asked to leave. They've asked for a clearance, I believe. I haven't heard that through the commission. I've just heard that from a good source. So we'll just see what comes of that. But I would say Loxton North comfortably.
The good guys from Les Lange, beautiful. That's what we like to hear. And I'll go for Loxton North as well. I think they're just far too settled at the moment. So.
Okay.
And we've swapped around here again, haven't we,
We have.
That's
Yours is marked in orange and mine's in pink. So that's probably why you're so used to looking at pink stuff. Okay, so we'll go with Loxton and Barnum Monash for the next game. We haven't got any details about Loxton yet. Les, can you give us any insight on that?
From what I've heard, no injuries from last game. The only minor problem, or probably would be a major if he doesn't play, could be Mark Teely.
Okay.
He played last week. He got a real bad corky the week before, but apparently he got through the game okay, but it's actually really playing up on him. So whether they've got to do something with the blood in there, if too much blood in there or whatever, I would suspect that they may rest Healy this week. I would suspect that. If they don't, well then he'll be right to play. But obviously they've lost Adam Proud now. He's gone and play for Marion, and his call got best for him too. So obviously it was a good call for him. So I think Loxton will be at full strength. I believe Kurtz is due to come back in, whether they go through the twos with him or not.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure because I don't really go into the club much at all.
Yeah,
I like to
fair
keep my space because Shay's playing. But so with the Loxton themselves, I think they'll be at full strength. There'll be no excuses if they don't win. So I don't think there's any major injuries other than the little one with Teely, that's all.
For sure.
And with Barmer, we've got Jake Smith in, which is a big in, but an equally big out, Captain Matt Layson, who wouldn't have missed too many games in the last few years, I wouldn't have thought.
He had a big injury a few years back, didn't he?
Yeah.
I reckon maybe. Yeah, he's done a hammy this time around. So.
A good in, but a badly missed out there. So, Loxton versus Barmer Monash, and on form, you'd have to tip Loxton, Nick.
Yep, I'm on the Loxton bandwagon at the moment, as we spoke about earlier in the week. I think Loxton are the real deal. Once they get up and running, they're going to be tough to beat with big Ben the Flash Gordon up there kicking the goals at the moment. So.
And Les,
is Layson injured or just unavailable?
Injured.
Yeah. He's a huge loss, but I was expecting Smith to play last week. That's why I picked him, so he cost me a tip. Look, without Jake, Danny Millar's not in.
No, not this stage. They're hopeful, but not this stage.
Okay, yeah, you'd have to run with Loxton. I actually saw Loxton last week. I was in the goals, and they looked pretty good.
Yeah.
The Adelaide boys are starting to get used to the big ovals, and also the coaches are starting to use their rotations a bit smarter for them as well. So, but this Peterson Gray's pretty handy.
Yeah, I've heard that.
He's the one that's they're going to have to watch. He's very good.
Yeah.
Hands
all right.
down. Yeah.
So unanimous for Loxton there.
Yep.
Do you want to do this one, Mitch?
Yeah. Okay, we'll keep going. Renmark versus Berry. Renmark looking for their first win, and of course Berry haven't lost a match yet. So opposite ends of the premiership ladder here at the moment. Berry, we've got ins, potentially Mark Hampton and Zach Ongley, and big out is Scott Mumford.
Amazing Mumford.
And Renmark we think could be unchanged this week. So at face value, top versus bottom, you have to go with the form side, which is Renmark.
Berry,
I mean.
Yes.
So now this is what happens when you mix up the orders.
The Berry are ticking along, going quite nicely at the moment.
Berry.
Zip and
sorry, Lefty.
It's hard to see them getting knocked off this week by the Rovers.
It's been a long day.
It's been a long day.
Yeah.
We're filming this at 5:30, so
it's midnight.
Mitch just came for a beer.
Film this at midnight.
Yeah, you have to run with Berry. Look, Mumford's a big miss, but look, unfortunately, Renmark are really in big trouble.
Yep.
They're relying on young kids to do men's jobs, and you can't do that. You can do it in a winning side, guys, but you can't do it in a losing side.
Yeah, there's that many kids playing, it's tough. There
is, and I was very disappointed with Renmark's effort last week. Not their performance, their effort. They had some really good passages of plays, you guys, and I was actually going to give Percy a call, and because I like to see every club do well. It's just that they got no one in the forward line. They've made some beautiful plays, and they just got rebounded over the forward line, bang, down, goal. So they needed quick fix, whether they bring C Camp up there. I know C Camp only wants to play B grade. They need someone.
Target back from
their full forward line was young Lelman, Sam Steve and Rosler. Sam's Shay's age, the other two are younger. So they really need someone up there to help them out. And if I was Percy, I know the big fella doesn't want to play, but I'll be just sitting C Camp up there and say, look, mate, you run 15, 20 metres, that's all you need to do. But anyway, we definitely have to go for Berry.
No worries. Well, we're up into the independent games. So Lirrup are taking on Brownswell down at Lirrup. Ins for Lirrup, Travis Wilson, big in, missed the last game with a bit of a minor injury. But some big outs. The skipper Dave Grenfell's out, and Tristan Jackson as well, and Sam Hill's away. So a few big outs for Lirrup there. And on the flip side, Brownswell, the ins they've got there are absolutely huge. Matt Hampel, I think he's the skipper this year, the big tall fella. Tate Sharman up in the forward line. Mark McConnell, one of the best on-ballers going around. James Fegert, a great forward. Brad Perry, our old mate Pez, and Craig Hyde, one of the top defenders going around. So they're bringing in the big guns this week. They're all available for the first time in a long while, and you'd think that they do the job over Lirrup, I think. Pretty
Brownswell for me as well.
Yep, Brownswell as well.
Okay, on to the next game involving Nick's team Paringa versus Moorook at the massive Paringa Oval. Ins, we've got I don't know how true this all is, Les.
Okay, rightio.
A bit dodgy here. No, we've got Tom Fran, Dwayne Angel, Adam Forbes, Jared Collinson, which is a good in, James Patterson, Shannon Hissey, and Brodie Dillon. And outs, we've got some good outs as well, though. Some good players out. Aaron Tripney, Sam Fran, Jamie Gudgeon, Pete Siddle, Tyson Rowe, and Michael Dutson. And for Marook, a bit of trouble for Marook this week. They're struggling for numbers. Robbie Vagg's an in, but the outs are from Matt Morrell, Lyndon Goodman, Kim Sampson, Jared Munn and Daniel Clark, and I understand there might be one or two more outs in that list as well. So Marook really struggling this week, and probably a good week for the Swans to catch them. So I'll go with Paringa at home in this one. Nick, you're going for Paringa, so Les?
Oh, we can't always agree, can we?
Whatever you like.
Are you playing coach or just normal coach?
No, if I was playing coach, you'd back Marook in.
I was going to say the same thing, actually. Well, you know, if Paringa don't beat Marook today or this Saturday, right, they won't win another game for the year.
Oh, big call.
Okay, mate. I mean, honestly, I'll run with Paringa, Nick, but I can tell you now, if you don't beat Marook, it's the last time I'll tip you. And because that is a very depleted side for Marook. But is Travis Voigt didn't play last week, so he's not coming in. So he'll be still out as well.
Yeah.
So there's a few others out. So, Paringa, there you go.
Yeah, you're under pressure now.
Yeah, the boys will be absolutely prepping themselves at the moment. Les has made the big call. And the last game, we've got Ramco and Wonka. Ramco went down narrowly to Brownsville last week, so they'll be keen to bounce back. They've got Cameron Hawke back in, he's probably the big in, and young Brodie Haynes. And for Wonka, they're hoping to get Simon Hucks will be back. It's a big in for Wonka because they were lacking a bit of a target up forward last week, apart from Geordie, and possibly Rod Tonkin if they finish seeding out on the farm. So they're sort of waiting for a few of those boys to finish with the farming at the moment. Not sure on outs. They didn't cop any injuries on the weekend, which was the first time I understand all year that they haven't copped an injury. So
okay.
I'd love to go Wonka. I really would for old Mick Durden, good friend of the Pioneer, but I think I'm going to go Ramco in a close one. Yeah,
I think it'll be closer than maybe people think, but I'd have to tip Ramco as well. Les?
Now, I want to ask you guys a question. Nathan Brown's in the Riverland. Did he play for Wonka last week?
No, hasn't played yet.
Played soccer.
He
played soccer, and understand he's not meant to play footy this year.
Okay.
But look, who knows?
Yeah, from what I understand, he's potentially lost a bit of passion for the game, but it could be sparked by mid-year. Who knows? And it'd be a very handy addition for one.
Because I didn't know whether they might sneak him in or not. Because I find it surprising how poor a start Wonka's had this year. You know, from what we heard from the pre-season, they almost picked a win in the flag, and they just can't get over the line. But can't go past Ramco, guys, can you? I mean, the way they've started. Little bit of a fall last week, but that's going to happen.
Guess the good side too.
Yeah, you've just got to go with Ramco, I think.
Beautiful. Very good. Well, that's it from us for this week, for episode 5. Thanks for joining us, and thanks, Les, for coming on.
It's a pleasure.
Chat.
Pleasure, guys.
See you next week.
See you later.
Hey, baby, jump over here when you do the ooby dooby.